Breaking news that broke overnight: the criminal investigation into the Trump administration, or rather the Trump organization. According to Axios.com, New York Attorney General Letitia James' office announced that its investigation into the Trump organization is, quote, no longer purely civil, and that it's joining with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office in proceeding with a criminal investigation. Now, this comes after a 2-year-long investigation by the Attorney General's office into whether the Trump organization improperly inflated assets on financial statements and committed potential bank, tax, and loan fraud. The original investigation began when New York Attorney General Letitia James announced in 2019 that her office was investigating Trump organization finances. Her office filed a lawsuit in August of 2020 and issued subpoenas for an investigation into whether former President Trump and his company improperly inflated the value of its assets on financial statements. Here is New York Attorney General Letitia James on The View last December describing the investigation into the Trump organization.
The investigation that we are ongoing is as a result of the testimony of Michael Cohen before Congress. And in that, Michael Cohen testified that, in fact, the financial statements of the Trump organization include information that the president, as well as some of his children, perhaps inflated his assets so that they can get financial terms for loans and for insurance coverage. In addition to that, they deflated those same assets for the purposes of evading and/or avoiding tax liability. Our investigation is ongoing. It is a civil investigation in nature. However, there is a criminal investigation that's currently being conducted by the Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance.
Again, now that was last December, and this has now, they announced last night that this has transformed into a criminal investigation. She went on to describe the difficulty her office had getting testimony from Eric Trump, Donald Trump's son, and the executive director, or the executive vice president, rather, of the Trump organization. Let's take a listen into that clip.
We sought the testimony of Eric Trump, and we filed and served subpoenas upon him. And as you know, during the campaign season, unfortunately, he failed to comply with our subpoenas, and we had to file a motion to compel his testimony. And he objected. We went into court. We were successful because our powers in the Office of Attorney General are broad. And he came in to testify. And the fact that the president that Mr. Trump is the president of the United States has no bearing on our investigation. And in fact, the election really has no bearing on our investigation. We will continue our investigation whether he's president or not.
Now, as a result of the testimony, as she stated, of Michael Cohen, who testified before Congress, as well as the subpoena testimony of Eric Trump, this has now turned into a criminal investigation, and we will have more information as it comes to us. As far as Eric Trump, well, he was never the brightest member of the already dense Trump family. He went on Sean Hannity last night to discuss his father's big plans to run again in 2024, speaking about how much people really miss the Donald. Unbeknownst to him, the New York Attorney General's office was launching a criminal probe into the organization that he proudly lists himself as the executive vice president of. Let's take a look at that clip.
More people, I can tell you, more people have come up to me on the street in the last week and given me hugs saying, we miss him so much. Literally, sometimes, Sean, with tears in their eyes, we miss the man so much. No matter what you say about him, he loves this country and he's willing to fight for this.
James, with tears in their eyes, they're coming up to him saying, we miss Donald Trump so much. And this was the same night that the Attorney General said, yeah, ain't nobody. Listen, he might have had water too. Yeah, hey, listen, there's enough. There's 70% of Republicans who believe that this man actually had the election stolen from him. I believe him when he says that. Now, it's as ridiculous as it is ridiculous, right? It's just extremely stupid for people to have any. We lost 500,000 people underneath Donald Trump in 1 year, right? But they don't care about those lives. All they care about is being able to own the libs. They're willing to die to own the libs. That said, Eric Trump he's in trouble too. Like, he is the executive vice president of the Trump organization, and they're going to follow the attorney general. Of New York. She's going to follow this evidence no matter where it lands. And so it's a good possibility that all of the Trump children, but especially Eric Trump, while he's on television with Sean Hannity trying to brag about what his father is going to do in 2024, there's a good possibility that Trump Sr. as well as Eric Trump, they are going to be facing some potential criminal charges in this. And I thought about this, James. It's never really the crimes that are the most egregious that gets these criminals. You think about Al Capone. It wasn't any of his gangster activities. It was the fact that he messed with his taxes. He played with the IRS, and some of these rich white people think that they're so powerful that they've gotten over so many poor people. They've stepped on so many people's necks to get to where they are. They actually think that they could get away with playing with the IRS. And I don't know. I think Donald Trump may find out real quickly, the same way Al Capone found out, that the one person that you don't want to mess with is the initials are IRS. So anyway, what would you think about? You like
throw them all under the jail. Look,
get them all right.
I don't know, Eric. Eric is not my son. He's adopted. He's not really my son. This is BS. This is just something that China came up with. I don't know what is going on. I didn't do any of this. I make a lot of money. Sometimes. I cheat most of the time. It's everybody coochie.
There's That's the truth. I mean, there it is. He makes money some of the time. I mean, we actually had his tax. We covered his tax records, his tax returns back in, I think it was like October or November of last year. And turns out that he actually isn't as rich as he's been lying to everybody about. So we'll see how this goes for him. But the criminal investigation, that probe has some serious ramifications for the entire Trump family, because they have all been grifting for a very long time.